Yeah, this is a pretty chaotic time. It's funny. I should have known. So, Ken Bozak won't mind me talking shit about him, but I should have known because I was going to have Ken Bozak on the show instead. And he agreed, but he had some personal health issue to deal with instead. So that's all right. But I only found out like a few minutes ago. And so it's like, all right, well, let's wing it. Have you ever seen that, Bill O'Reilly, right? The American conservative pundit. Have you ever seen that thing of him going, "We'll do it live," and he's like shaking his head? That clip of him getting very angry. It's a funny thing that's in internet meme culture now forever, and he just like, "We'll do it live," and yeah, we'll just wing it,
I just hope he's okay,
Yeah. But anyway, let me. Is anyone? 3 people watching on YouTube. Hi guys. Let me just.
Hi guys. How are y'all doing?
Odysee's loading a little weird. Let me just see if he even says I'm live on this thing, but as long as it's live somewhere. Yeah.
These are interesting times for Dash. I mean, I see a lot of community members like frustrated, DTG's not releasing anything for this bull run and stuff. But I think, as far as features, we're loaded and we have a lot of things coming at once. And that's direct and everything. If we're not on, a top coin, I don't think it is right now because we don't have enough features or enough tech or enough anything.
Yeah.
It is definitely, it's just a very young market, just driven by hype and stupid things like the dogs. Just because your coin has the name of a dog, everyone invests on it. And, it's just, I'm not concerned about Dash personally. I think actually I am pretty new in Dash. And I joined the Dash army in February actually of 2021. So I'm pretty new, but things looked way worse back then than they look now.
Of course.
So I am not concerned at all. I think the future is bright. I don't know what you think. But
well, this might be, you have a couple people watching. This might be just a good time to roll into the intro and then just introduce you, and then we'll just go into the stuff. So anyway, hey everyone for watching. Let me just hit the intro real quick, and then we'll get into it. So hey everyone, happy Friday. Hope you had a great week so far. It's been a little bit of a hectic one for me, to say the very least, but we have a very special guest today. You might not know him, and I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to put out the announcement for this one yet, and with the picture and everything. But it's my good friend and comrade. Let's use a communist term, why not? Pedro Pozo. How's it going, man?
I'm great. I'm doing great.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, Pedro helps me out with this project called the Dash Marketing Hub, and I first saw any of this stuff about him from going on a show talking about, I've seen you talking around, I've seen you on the interwebs. I first saw your face when you went on some show to talk about crypto, and it was, it was pretty interesting. I'm like, wow, this, so when I had the Ken Bozak cancellation, I was like, hey, this guy's pretty good at this stuff. I want to see if he wants to, he always seems eager to get more into this, has that new crypto user energy type thing. And so, before we jump into your story and how you got into crypto and then hit the headlines, because we got to do that, cointr.ee/thedesert-links. That's how you leave a live crypto super chat. I'm going to paywall Pedro today. And so if you want to talk to him, you got to go through the paywall, except instead of being a greedy bastard like usual, I'm actually going to, anything you give to me, I will forward on to him. So if you want to help Pedro gets more started in the crypto world and start experiencing all this kind of stuff, live tips and all that awesome stuff, then you know what to do. Go throw him a few duffs, a few Bitcoin Cash, a few whatever else. I'll make sure, even if you send Doge, I'll make sure he gets it. Which my usual contributor, my usual Number one fan one time. Oh, Hilawi's in here. Hey, Hilawi.
Let me just tell you, if somebody
Yes.
gives me Doge, I'm instantly swapping it for Dash. So just saying.
Yeah. I actually had like several Doge, like 5 or 10 or like very small amount of, but then I didn't use it. And then just after a couple weeks ago, Naomi was on my podcast, and to thank her, I tipped her on CoinTree with Doge. So I just gave it. So it's her problem now. All my Doge is her problem.
Yeah. So my story is pretty interesting. So I started. I had a friend that was into crypto in 2017. With the bull run
Mm-hmm.
and everything.
Yeah, of course.
Um, and he got me into BitConnect. Okay, and I invested
Oh
$100.
God, here we go. This is a great start. Fantastic start.
Yeah, so I started, and I remember I put $100, and the bubble burst like literally next week. It was great. I mean, at the moment,
Yeah.
I was just pretty mad. I was a student. I had no money, so I was just
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, I lost $100. That's it, and I forgot about crypto at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, this is a scam. I don't know, just this is a scam. So I basically judged, the whole entire crypto sphere, crypto world, just based on BitConnect. And
Yeah.
then
A wonderful
now,
start. I'd love to hear how you came back to it
yeah.
because that's hard to come back from.
Well, with COVID, I started to be pretty concerned about the world. And especially because I'm not a conspiracy
Mm-hmm.
theorist or anything, but I started to be pretty complained about the world. I saw things. I'm from Spain, they locked us
Mm-hmm.
down, and I have at the moment I had a 1 year old, and he just learned to walk, and they locked up us. They locked us in our apartments for 50 days. Like literally,
Mm-hmm.
we couldn't go out for 50 days, and my kid would look at the window and cry, and I was like, this is not normal. This is not okay. And I was the first one to put mask on and stuff, and to
Mm-hmm.
take measures with COVID.
Of course.
But I didn't see any harm with me taking my kid to the mountains and just going. But why does the government have to mandate me to be at my house? I felt
Of
like I was
course.
under arrest. So that made me, in a way, I started wondering about the system, and why do we give the government so much power? When does this happen? And I started reading, getting into some things, and I came across Dash at some point, and I started seeing your podcast and some talks, and I started also I watched the videos that Amanda made back
Yeah.
in the day, how Dash fixed it, and they were pretty good. And
Mm-hmm.
I started. I think I invested like $150 in Dash at that point, and this was January of 2021, I think. So after the whole thing, um, and as I was, you know, doing that, I wanted to engage with other members in the community. And I think I went to Reddit first, then I went to Discord and Telegram, and I just started talking to people. And some people were rude, others was really
Mm-hmm.
nice. It's a community, so
I
it's
wonder
what
who was rude.
it
Yeah.
is. So, um, and I started getting more into the whole thing of, we really need an alternative to fiat, because if they can do
Mm-hmm.
this with my house, if the government can lock me down, they can also lock my bank account. And I am personally a Christian. I
Mm-hmm.
am very involved in a lot of Christian stuff. In fact, I'm studying a master's of divinity. I'm studying theology right now. And
Nice.
I, I was concerned because I look back in history and I see how Christians in other periods of time they've been censored all around,
Mm-hmm.
and things have happened. And I was wondering, what happens if in the future there is a government that wants to censor me? And you can wonder about this if you're a Christian and if you're not. I mean, what happens if you just have different opinions that they approve the
Mm-hmm.
opinion or whatever? And now with big tech and everything, we need alternatives. So that's how I really got into Dash, because I
Mm-hmm.
believe that Dash is still the best today by
Mm-hmm.
far. Bring in a platform where you can, I can literally send. I'm from Spain. I live in the U.S. now. I
Mm-hmm.
can literally send my mom money for a
Yeah.
fraction of a cent back to Spain without paying any fees, without paying anything, and she gets it instantly and can spend it instantly. I think there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing out there that does that without the threat of being banned or
Yeah,
something
and
like that.
that's the original promise of cryptocurrency to begin with. It's just that kind of a thing. And so, of course, I got into Bitcoin in 2013, maybe before. I believe my first ever I wrote an article about Bitcoin April of 2013. I didn't have any yet, but I was talking about it back then. And then it just, of course, a lot of people get into crypto and then they start like then they start what they get too into the culture and like, oh, what's the best NFT platform, what's the best, a bunch of other things, which nothing wrong with that at all. But uh, for me, and it seems that sounds like, I guess for you, the the idea it's a tool for a principle. And so while like I've gotten interested in lots of things in the crypto space, I still care primarily about the digital money that no one can confiscate. And so yeah, so you got into that. You went to Texas, and then you started poking around, and that's kind of what got you into it, huh?
Yeah, so I started poking around. I started, way before the hub. I started just, trying to be an active
Mm-hmm.
member of the community. I try to encourage others to participate. I studied about the DAO a lot, about how it works and everything. And I don't have a lot of Dash actually. I don't. I don't care about what people think or if people know how much I have. I have like 50 coins. So I don't have a lot of it, but I really think that the value of Dash, for example, is not on how much money do I have or how much money does it make for me, the value of crypto in general. The value of crypto is that this could actually be a system that replaces our traditional system and that takes the
Mm-hmm.
power from the evil hands and brings it back to the people. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm excited about. And so that's how I got to be more active in the community, and then how I got into the hub. I remember that you were mentioning that you wanted to do something to market this,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I want to be in. I want to be in. I want to contribute. I want to, and if I can make some money, while doing it, then great.
Yeah.
Uh, and we're working a lot of hours actually on doing stuff that's not
Yeah.
paid that people doesn't see.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just see, oh well, you made four dash this month. Oh my goodness. And I'm
Yeah.
like, and I worked 50 hours for those four dash
Yes.
or more than that, so
We'll touch on the details of the hub right at the very end. But yeah, that's you know, it's a crazy world, and someone's been in the space for like over 8 years. It's seen a lot of shit. Let me put it that way. But speaking of all that stuff, so back in my day, when I was like first learning about Bitcoin and stuff, it had no value. As part of me, it was valued around $130 or so, or per coin.
wow.
But it like no one understood the value other than like a few hardcore people, and that's it. And a lot of things people are talking about over the years, when it started getting to 2016, 2017, like several years in, they're like, oh, one day it'll be mass adopted, one day, all this kind of stuff. And a big part of that was talking about institutions. And there was this meme because at some point Bitcoin stopped being as useful for digital cash, and that can be hours long conversation just there.
Oh yeah.
But then a lot of the people who are still supporting it, and they say, well, it'll just be a store of value instead. But there's like, all we need is just don't worry, institutions are coming. That was the beam. Institutions are coming. All the big institutions are this and that. And then prices would pump in like 2017 on speculation of an ETF. And now guess what? There's a couple of Bitcoin ETFs that got approved. And I really like the Valkyrie one, right? So yeah, Valkyrie is basically, so Valkyrie is an investment company that has an ETF project that's it's on its way to being approved. That means that people with can invest in it. It's not like you buy Bitcoin directly, but you buy like shares in this fund, and you it's from what I've heard. Again, shout out to Naomi Brockwell because she knows more about this stuff than me, and I actually one of the only crypto influencers that I actually look at, like look at her stuff. Basically, it's not as good as having Bitcoin or whatever directly because you don't control it on the one hand, but on the other hand, it has a bunch of tax exemptions. Like if you put like your retirement account and you do
Yeah.
it and stuff. And so the cool thing about Valkyrie is new, and their seed round the Dash Investment Foundation, which is a mechanism by which the Dash decentralized network may invest in and own property and equity, etc. They got in on the seed round and invested in Valkyrie. And then, of course, Valkyrie's been taken off recently with a whole lot of stuff, and especially it's like one of the first Bitcoin ETFs, if not the. I'm not exactly sure which one's getting through the gate first, but it's still like, oh, like Dash owns a part of the first Bitcoin ETF, so to speak. I think that's pretty cool. Have you talked to anyone in like any of your non-crypto friends or family about, Valkyrie or the like basically how would they wrap their head around this very strange thing we were just talking about?
Yeah, so I've been someone that have tried to convince a lot of family and friends to get into crypto, not based on the argument that, oh yeah, this is a great investment, this will make you
Mm-hmm.
money, but on the argument of this could actually be important for your life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what's important. And regarding Valkyrie and the EDFs, I think um, they are great in terms of that they can actually be a gateway for a lot of people from the traditional markets to get into crypto, but like into crypto investing. But I think they're not good. So they have a good side of it, but they also have, a dark side for it, where is, that, and that dark side is that people cannot actually use it. So
Mm.
um it's just against an asset that you can invest on a reserve, a reserve of value. So I think, I mean, I haven't talked to people about Valkyrie myself, not because
Mm.
I don't think it's good. I think it's actually a good thing that exists, but because, I think people should manage their own money. And I
Yeah.
think that's what crypto brings. So, but I think it's a really good idea, especially because there's companies, for example, that if you have a 401k, they match. And let's say you want to put, $300 in your 401k every month. Some
Mm-hmm.
some companies will put another 300 for you, and that 401k could go into Valkyrie.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that would be a way, with $300 every month to buy, $600 worth of Bitcoin or something like that.
Yeah.
So for your retirement fund, I don't think there's anything wrong that part of your retirement fund is based on Bitcoin or Bitcoin's value. I think that's good and it's a good tool, but definitely it's not going to replace, or it's not going to. I'm not as excited about it
Mm-hmm.
as I would be, with something where people can actually control their money.
Yeah, and I have to say, like, when talking about the free market, which is just the way the world works, right? We can't like that top-down control doesn't work in the sense that you can't just say, "Oh, self-custody of Bitcoin." Like you should touch the stuff itself. Of course, we say that, yes, and that is true, but it's not true for everyone. Where you can't just mandate what everyone should be eating and drinking, for example. And so,
Yeah,
products like this come up to fulfill a market need. As someone who's again using cryptocurrency directly in keys I control and all that kind of stuff for 8 years, I still get freaked out sometimes when receiving and backing up crypto wallets and just making sure my security is good. I get paranoid sometimes. And like for example, a month or so ago, I had to restart my Lightning node from scratch. I had to get rid of it and then
mm,
put it back, and then like put it back and restore with like the 24 word seed word. I know like $100 of Bitcoin in there. It wasn't that much, but it when I wrote down, hand wrote the 24 words, it didn't work. And
really.
I'm like, doesn't work. What happened? And so after troubleshoot, after like working on it forever, I finally figured out that the problem with those words were, and of course, is combined with a bug in the Umbrel software, which thankfully they've patched since then. But it turns out that one of those words, and I could have like I've been writing down seed words for years. I could have sworn like everything was perfect. One of the words was written down slightly wrong, like abbreviated. It was
Oh,
like the word was penny, something like penny, and it was pen instead. And so just from like I tried it in another wallet, and then it had like an autocomplete function, and so I just went with the autocomplete of that word, and it worked. And so I'm like, oh, like, and this is me, a veteran. And it's not just someone who's been using crypto for a while. Like every day I use this, you know, and
yeah.
even then it's scary. So can you imagine some old person? being like, I want to get into the Bitcom or whatever they think it's called, and then you're just like, all right, here you go. Make sure no one hacks on your phone or computer. First off, that we already
Yeah.
lost them there. Then write down, and then what happens if there's a house fire, and then you just all your money's gone for like, and then
Yeah.
it's not play money. You don't still have a career, like you were retired. This is your retirement money. Are you gonna be able to feed yourself for the rest of your life? Like you can't go back to work at 68 or like that's
Yeah.
terrible. And so
It
but
is.
if you could just put some money into like a Bitcoin ETF or something, and then you're into a fund, you're gonna be okay.
Yeah, I guess with great power comes great responsibility. So,
Yes.
I think we're very early in
Hmm.
the crypto sphere, even though it feels like. Because I remember when I was getting into crypto, I'm like, I had the thought, I'm late. I'm
Mm-hmm.
late. Look, Bitcoin is valued now $40,000, and Dash at the moment was 250 or something like that. And I was like, I'm late to this. It's already. You look at the chart and you were like, if I gotten here, a year before, I would have paid 10% of what I'm paying now.
Mm-hmm.
So, but reality is, I think we're very early, and it takes time for people to learn new technologies and to learn new things. And regarding, for example, my mom has some Dash actually, because I talked her into it and she liked it
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. But I store it on my hardware wallet. I store
Yeah.
her Dash on my hardware wallet because for her it would be too complicated
Oh yeah.
to have a hardware wallet to connect it to the internet or whatever. So she just calls me if she wants to spend it, and I just send it to her mobile app or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and then that works. But that way she it's not complicated for her. She just keeps a little bit of money on her on her phone wallet. If somebody steals that money, it's not going to be a big deal for
Mm-hmm.
her. But I see the value. I see the value on an EDF. And in fact, if I had a job right now that offered me 401k matching, I would probably do a little bit of money every month just because it's free
Mm-hmm.
money. And somebody said here, that's using the fiat system. Well, yes, it is. Sadly, we live in the fiat, you know, world. And I know that Joel is
Yes.
completely unbanked, and I've talked to you actually about becoming completely unbanked. I want to do that at some point.
It'll be easier with
Um,
each passing year.
right. It is easier, and especially living in the US now with Dash Direct, man, that made things
So much
way
easier.
better. Yeah, it's incredible. And again, that's the div, which we talked a little bit before about
Mm-hmm.
with this. It's the same with Valkyrie. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I guess my point is there is, and I think it was also your point. There is market for these things, and if there is a
Mm-hmm.
market for these things, and we can bring more users even indirectly into crypto, I think that's a good thing. And into Dash, I think that that has some
Yeah.
value as well. So
Well, yeah, that's the thing is, uh, like transitory things. Like some people, some salty trolls online say like, "Oh, but Dash Direct isn't using Dash. It's you're using Fiat or something." Which who cares? But like the small grain of truth in that is that at some point in 10 years, let's just say 10 years, every place you'll be able to spend it directly. Like it's in it goes to them, it doesn't get converted to fiat or anything cuz and they're going to have it. And so but we're just not there yet. So I'm okay is the thing is like by using this kind of stuff, I get to not do KYC. I get to
yeah,
not give control of my funds to anyone, and those two things together, and I get to not have my funds in control, able to be inflated away. And as long as I have those three things, that's what really matters.
yeah. So if you look at from like my perspective as the user, what I do is I have Dash on my hardware wallet where I keep my Dash. That's my bank. That is my vault
Mm-hmm.
there. And then so I am my own bank. It's right there. So from there, I just get it. I send it to my phone wallet, and then I go to Subway, for example, and I
Mm-hmm.
go and buy a sandwich on Subway, but I don't lose control of my funds right up until the point of purchase. So I literally just send instantly the money from my hardware wallet to my
Mm-hmm.
phone. Then I just go. It takes literally 2 seconds. Then I go to the market, and I just make, order it and say, I'm going to pay with debit card, and without telling anybody, any government,
Mm-hmm.
any agency, any company, my name or my, no KYC, I'm able to buy with crypto. Okay. And so people
Mm-hmm.
say, no, it's dollars. No. Okay. I am giving crypto and receiving a sandwich. What
Yeah.
what happens in the middle of it is not something that I am doing. So in reality, from my perspective, I am spending crypto to get a sandwich. And for me, that's incredible. So
Yeah. Well, and that's as a small before we move on to the whole Thor chain stuff, which is awesome. That small little detail of if you pay, let's just say a company like Bitrefill, let's mix it up a little bit. If you pay Bitrefill in Litecoin, why not? Why not just say something? If you give them Litecoin, and then you get a gift card from them that you use to like pay for something.
right.
You're not using fiat. You're paying crypto for a good or service and receiving that directly in return. And the person who receives it is likely keeping at least a certain portion of this. In the case of Bitrefill, probably in the case of CrayPay / Dash Direct. And then you're using that product at the store. So it's just
Right.
like it's like if you pre-order a thing online and then you get a coupon and you take your receipt and say, "Hey, I bought this online. Where's my product?" It's not like, well, but you're not actually buying. No, you come on, you dumbass, you did. You buy, as a small little, people are always going to nitpick. But again, these are the same people there, swipey with their card and their bank account and their fiat and all their financial slavery. But anyway, let's get on to THORChain. So,
Okay.
THORChain, uh, THORChain finally re-enabled the last of its networks, i.e., Ethereum, that it supported. And there wasn't any news story about it. It happened just like yesterday, I think. There's no news story about it on Cointelegraph. Shame on you, Cointelegraph, whatever. It just means THORChain flies under the radar a little bit still. And basically, for those who don't know what THORChain is, it's a cross-chain Uniswap for people who know what Uniswap is. If you don't know what Uniswap is or whatever, it's basically an entire exchange system that is all completely decentralized, and it's cross-chain, meaning if I have, let's say, Dash very soon, I could swap it for Litecoin. Again, why would you? But whatever. I could swap it, and I don't need to swap uh, representations of Dash or Litecoin on a different chain. I just swap the Dash for the Litecoin. Because if you
Yeah.
think about it, Uniswap, and I'm not hating by saying this. I think Uniswap is fantastic, and all the DeFi stuff like has really pushed the world into a new era of decentralization and awesomeness. That being said, it's if you trade, let's say, like a Dash or a wrapped BTC or whatever on Uniswap, you're not trading Bitcoin. You're trading kind of like fiat Bitcoin. Like, fiat is
Right.
supposed to be a gold or silver certificate. Again, they got rid of that, but it used to be like a paper representation of what you have. And so you're saying, look, well, no, there's Bitcoin behind this. I'm moving it. At least that wrapping process is, as far as I understand, usually a decentralized way. So it's not as bad as a fiat system, but you're still not trading the actual stuff. But with THORChain, you trade the actual stuff. You like imagine if with THORChain, you're like, hey, I am a Dogecoin whale. Like I bought so much Dogecoin, it went to the moon, and I have all this Dogecoin, but I can't really spend it anywhere, and the fees are too high right now. And you're like, hey, just swap some into Dash, dump some Doge into THORChain, comes out Dash the other end. Now you can spend it, and you don't have to like mess with this wrapping stuff. You don't have to give your ID. You don't have to have a system that can be shut down. It's pretty cool. And so they just came back online because they had a series of hacks that happened, it's in ChaosNet. It's like a test net, a public test net kind of thing right now. So it's expected that there would be some stuff. So the hacks, of course, were all paid for by the Treasury. They shut it down. All the node operators took it down for a month or so. I don't remember how long it was down for. And then they have been slowly re-enabling everything after fixing the bugs. And so Ethereum's last big one, it's up. THORChain is back.
Yeah. I think it is incredibly important. Something
Mm-hmm.
like Thor Chain, because you don't have to trust anybody.
Mm-hmm.
You just send Dash to an address and receive Litecoin in that sense, or Dogecoin to an
Mm-hmm.
address, and then you receive in your Dash address your hardware wallet, for example, you directly receive it. So without going through, Binance or Coinbase or any of these, you get, to exchange these coins, and you can get
Mm-hmm.
stable coins if you want to. But I mean, why would you want to? I don't know. But you
For
could get
traders.
stable coins, yeah, for traders and stuff like that. So there is a lot of things that can be done. Actually, the fees, once this is up and running and stable, they're not going to be bad, um, at all. But the part that I'm more excited as a user about is the fact that I am going to be able to provide liquidity. So regular
Mm-hmm.
exchanges, they provide the liquidity for the users, and they get a fee in exchange for that liquidity. So let's say I have a lot of Doge and I have a lot of Bitcoin. So if you want to get some Doge with Bitcoin, I provide the liquidity so you can make that swap. You give me the Doge and I give you the Bitcoin or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the challenge with a decentralized platform is who provides that, who's giving you the liquidity, so those transactions can be fast. And I really like the fact that I can, as a user, without KYC, without anything, I can be the ones that provide that
Yeah.
liquidity to the network. So I can get my 50 coins of DAS, for example, and I can say, okay, I'm gonna put half of my Dash in there, and they actually divided, for example, to trade between Rune and Dash. They actually divided for you,
Mm-hmm.
so you will have half in Rune and half in Dash. But that would be a way so I can be providing liquidity to the network, and also buying some of that Rune that powers it. And at the same time, I think they're going to give you like 20% annual. I don't know what the end
Yeah. It
percentages will be, but
varies wildly. Right now, because it's in ChaosNet, it's not actually public yet. I mean, even though anyone can use it, they've capped liquidity at certain levels, and so we're right about peak liquidity. I
right.
don't know if there's a little bit of room. If there is, there was last night, and I put like another $10 of Bitcoin Cash in my very small little thing just to try it out. But I think my little bit of Bitcoin Cash there is getting about like 30% APY right now, which is pretty insane. It's
It's
not going to last,
insane.
honestly. When the caps get raised, when the caps get eliminated, and anyone can put it in, the market will balance it out, and it won't be
Yeah,
nearly that high. But a few percent. Let's just say 5%. 5% APY is not bad.
because
And
it's
yeah.
trustless. Yeah, you're stacking it trustlessly, and for me, something frustrating with Dash as a new user is
Mm-hmm.
that I am a regular guy with a regular job, and I
Mm-hmm.
I live in a first world country, but I cannot afford a master node just that easily.
Yeah.
So I
Join the
really
club,
wanted
huh?
to have a node. I really wanted to participate in the DAO. I am very excited about the DAO. I am very passionate about it, but I cannot afford a node. And so all I can do is maybe put some in CrudNode and Boat, which is great. And I'm thankful for services like
Mm-hmm.
CrudNode. But I got out of CrowdNode because not because I don't trust them. I think they're
Mm-hmm.
great, but because I believe in the principle, not your keys, not your crypto.
Of
And the
course.
whole reason why I'm in Dash and in crypto in general is because I want to be the owner of my own money. I want to
Mm-hmm.
be in control of my finances. So because I want to be in control of my finances, trusted services will not work for me. That would be
Mm-hmm.
stupid. I'm not as concerned about the fiat value or whatever. I'm concerned about my freedom. So um, that's why I am excited about Rune and about THORChain, because I can do that. I can get a percentage until they release masternode shares, or they reduce somehow the
Yeah.
collateral or something. I don't know what will happen in the future, but I can put my dash there and get some in return every year. So I'm excited about that without having to trust anyone. So
Yeah, and here's an interesting economic factor in all this, right? So, for example, let's say liquidity provide Litecoin. You get like 25% APY right now or something. I mean, I'm sure it'll go down over time.
yeah,
When Dash gets added, Dash is coming to THORChain. It's been mentioned by just a lot of high ups in Thor. It's in the process.
yeah,
Like it's I would say it's 100% at this point, which is great.
yeah,
But or nothing's 100%. Let's give it a high 98%. So
yeah,
that means that any Dash user could deposit money and make interest on it, sort of. But the thing is, like, for the same demand, I guess, it's competing with the masternodes. So right now, I believe if you have a Dash masternode or you're using CrowdNode, it's somewhere around 5% APY, right? About
Yeah.
5%. And so let's just say Dash comes out the gate with 30% on THORChain or something. It's like, wow. Well, a lot of people are going to be taking down their masternodes and putting their money into that, which of course the 30 will go down. But then the 5 for the masternode will go up the fewer nodes there are. So that each node is going to get more. And at some point, so first off, it's going to make masternodes make more money because there will be fewer of them because there will be time to go over there. Or, obviously if they lower the collateral on that, it might be, the same amount, for example, but then it's a higher percentage on your investment, so to speak, right?
Right.
As far as your money you parked there. And so that means that first off, it'll make masternodes more profitable, but it also means that it'll make liquidity providing on THORChain more attractive because with the same demand, Dash will always be more profitable than the competitors because you can also earn money elsewhere there. Whereas with Litecoin or Bitcoin Cash, you can't stake at all. And so because of that, that'll still give an advantage to Dash. And I think that'll be really cool because in the 2017 bull run, when Dash went from $10 in January to $1,600 at the end of December or middle of December, I think, that enormous bull run, a lot of it was like evolution hype, but a big part of it was Dash was the first, people had proof of stake for a while and stuff, but it was the first like regular coin that everyone had that you could just put some money in and get a recurring income. You thought if I get a masternode at 10,000 a masternode, at
I'm done for life.
100,000 a masternode, yeah, I'm retired. I'm done. I can have a recurring income. And so people threw a lot of money into that. And then, of course, during this next cycle, now you can do that with so many projects and earn so much more than Dash. And so that kind of brings back the staking element kind of a thing. And of course, if you talk about what I like to see happen more than just, you can make staking on that stuff. I always like utility. And if we get if one gets lots of people with other cryptos say, hey, you can live entirely off of Dash. Hold your Bitcoin, hold your Doge, hold your whatever. Whenever you just need some spending money, swap it over for Dash, and now you can save whatever 5% or more on Dash Direct, and it's great. And every time someone swaps that provides a little bit of a transaction fee right on THORChain, which then pays people who are staking Dash there. And so the more people, there more action there is with those swaps back and forth, the higher the profitability, and it becomes a pretty cool thing. And so I'm very fascinated by economics because it's almost like it's like the laws of physics for human behavior. And I just love seeing these things play out in action and kind of learning more. And as much as the market seems crazy sometimes, the market's never wrong. It's just misunderstood or it's going through a phase, but it's never wrong. And so
I agree.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting to watch, but that's a big long Thor ramble right there.
I think One Time says that he had a coin tree tip, so I don't know if it showed or not.
Hey, Joel and Pedro, when DashPay mainnet is released soon, what are some marketing/promotion ideas you're most excited for?
Okay.
All right. Well, why don't you go first?
We're getting into hub stuff. So I actually will have to leave in 10 minutes exactly.
Yes. Well, let me spend 30 seconds explaining the hub. So the Dash Marketing Hub is a project that I'm working on, Pedro's working on, and we have a new Dash proposal. And of course, this is stuff that regular viewers don't really need to care about, but this is a particularly dashy digital cash rundown. So voting closes in a couple days. So if you are one of them big old Dash whales, please vote for us. Or if you don't think we're doing a good job, then don't vote for us. But I think we are, so you should. So basically, it's a project where anyone can suggest an idea, that something that could promote Dash. You get paid for suggesting the idea. You could get paid for writing up specifications for the idea. You get paid for working on it. you could also get paid for overseeing the work, the quality control. You can get paid for all those things. And it's in a very kind of open and collaborative way. All transactions are public, all work is public, so there's no mysteries anywhere, because I hate the whole office politics of having to report this and that, and this just let's just get to work and see what happens, and what it is. So that's the hub. Vote for us if you have a masternode, but in the meantime, ideas for when platform's out.
Yeah, so some things that I would like to do. I would like to use right now we are setting up and getting up and running the different Dash community accounts. So for example, we have the Twitter, which is the most active one, that you're over, and also Kanuker is over. And you know, those are just accounts that are trying to bring and elevate Dash's presence over the, you know, internet. So we're just trying to engage into conversations, relevant conversations, post good news and stuff like that. Just trying to be relevant and to be there and to highlight everything that the DAO is doing. So from things from the diff to the to DCG to the incubator, almost anything that the DAO does, we try to highlight. So it's just a way to highlight that. So we're getting ready. Our DAS LinkedIn account is getting up and running. Blake is over that. We are getting ready now. Also, our Instagram account. We're trying to find the right person for that. I have a candidate that I'm talking with to see if they can do it. So I hope that by the time platform comes, we have these accounts up and running. So then we can do a massive. Yeah. So then we can do a massive like investment into like, okay, we're going to boost a lot of publications, and we're just going to do a heavy marketing campaign on Instagram, on TikTok. We're going to do it on Twitter. We're going to do it on that's my that's what I would do. I think we should just use the, you know, right now we're starting to build the different actors there, the different accounts. And then when we're ready and platform comes, we just, you know, blow it up. We light it up with money for boosting publications, getting to new users and stuff like that. So that's how I see it. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I mean, same thing. The PayPal, Venmo style, just username, contact lists, social things, showing people in usages, making sketches, all that kind of stuff. Then, of course, pushing them out across our distribution channels we already have, but then paid advertisement, of course, is great. You run some ads and stuff, and I would love to aggressively approach every single crypto YouTuber and make them an offer they can't refuse, you know, make them an offer they can't refuse of like, you get this much per person you sign up for this stuff, go for it. And then, you know, crypto YouTubers, again, and myself included, there's not a lot of money in this unless you're like millions of subscribers, right? But get everyone else on. So Hilawi had a super chat, but it got bumped by one time because one time just bumped it. So, but I have it over here. I can't put it up on the screen, regrettably. But he says, I just want to say that Pedro's presence in the community has been pleasant, especially when it comes to push for his support of more Dash Core Group transparency and his marketing hub work. What does Pedro think are the top challenges we have to fix Dash?
Okay. Well, first of all, I don't think Dash needs to be fixed. I think it works as it is right now. Regarding the technology, okay?
Yes.
And I'm excited for platform, and I think really cool things are coming. So, you know, the tech side, I think that's good. On my view, because I'm new, and I think, you know, the kudos there and the good comments. I think we need to figure a way so we can get new people involved in the community easier and faster, and not just involved into, you know, the conversations in Discord and stuff, but also involved in the DAO. I think I think that's the biggest challenge, because as a new guy that I'm excited, I really want to participate in the DAO. And now in a way I am with the marketing hub. I found my spot.
You're a victim of the DAO
money.
now.
I'm making money out of it. So I'm very happy about that.
Dealing with the trolls and the haters, all that.
Yeah, but I don't have a voice in the DAO.
Yeah.
And I don't pretend that my voice should be as important as someone that's been in the project for 3 years, or someone that's has 1,000 Dash. That's not what I'm saying. You know, there is a role for a masternode, but in a way, I think we should I don't know if with trustless shares or reducing collateral, but I don't know how, or having two levels of nodes with different payouts or something. I don't even
Mm-hmm.
know. But I think that's, for me, that's one of the biggest barriers, because the tech is great, but when I wanna be a part of the community, it's actually kind of hard because the barrier is very high. So, but that's not turning me down. I found my spot on the DAO, and I think everyone that's enough interested, could find their spot. And now with the hub, is very easy. You have the incubator if you're into programming and coding, and I believe there's great rewards on that too. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
that's what I think. That's, I think, is
I
one
tend
of the
I
biggest
tend to
challenges.
agree. Uh, and also like all the new blood you see coming in is great. All the There's a lot of old timers who are great too, but there's a lot of also people who came with memories of the 2017 bull run and are like, like why is everything suck today? And they have a very negative attitude because of that, understandably. But it helps to have obviously new life, and whenever people actually use Dash like Dash Direct, they get hooked. Now, uh, as far as like, so at first you had to do a proposal and pay 5 Dash to get involved in governance. Now the
Mm,
proposal fee is reduced to 1 Dash. I don't know. I don't think the changes are live yet, but
no,
it's
yeah.
being implemented, so that's easier. But it's still, just because like everyone can't have proposals, like you can't just expect everyone to be voting, like reading all of them and stuff. So because of that, then you had the incubator where now people could start any kind of development idea. Like, oh, I want a new app. I want to do it. Just build it. Sure, you can just kickstart from idea to final execution right in there. And so that's one reason I started the marketing hub, is because I wanted there to be, and I'm happy to be transitioning to just one of three running it rather than the guy running it, because I never wanted that to begin with. I just want this to exist. I want there to be a solution for people to come in and get things done. And what I'd love to see next is a business development hub of sorts. Same type of model. Anyone who's like, oh, I can get us listed on Gemini, and he just gets a thing going, and this, or like, oh, I have an idea to onboard all these merchants with this solution and this. Okay, that's not specifically marketing and promo. I'd love there to be a place for people to plug in there, so then anyone can get a job if Dashcore Group is hiring, but then, or whatever other entity like the Diff or whatever else is out there, but then you can just plug into one of these hubs and just start your thing from nothing. Or if you have a bigger idea than that, you can go to the proposal system. And I think that'll solve a lot of it. But as you mentioned, everyone who has Dash should have a way to vote, if for no other reason than to get them involved, feeling like they have something at stake here, and then to care more. So trustless shares, I believe, will be prioritized next year. But I mean, all this would be great 5 years ago. But we're dealing with what we have, and yeah. So you got 2 minutes before you got to go, right? Any
Yeah,
parting
actually,
thoughts, real
one.
quick? Any parting
Yeah, no,
thoughts for 30 seconds?
I'm just very thankful to all the community out there,
Mm-hmm.
that supported us with the hub,
Mm-hmm.
and our contributions to it. I'm very thankful for that, especially as someone new, that people,
Mm-hmm.
gave me the opportunity to just be, one more, and the confidence. And I know I've said, in Discord and stuff, sometimes things that are wrong, and as I was learning and stuff, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
very thankful for those of you out there that corrected me, and
Mm-hmm.
in a good way, and actually explained me why things are, different. And yeah, I just want to thank you, thank the Dash community, and send a message of like hope
Mm-hmm.
for the ones of you out there. I think Dash is in a great position right now, and things don't look like 2017 looking back. Yeah, um, but at the same time, I think that another bull run will come for Dash, and
Mm-hmm.
the tools that we have right now to actually make good use of it are much better than the ones we had back in the day. At least that's my understanding. So I think the community is growing. New things are getting ready for those that want to contribute and be a part of it, and more will be built in the future. So yeah, I'm happy. So
Perfect.
I think that's my message.
Well, thanks so much for being on. Everyone, thanks for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all the other good stuff. Um, under, um, Yes, next we have the Dash podcast coming up in like 5 minutes, let's say, and Rodrigo is on there of the diff, and that's going to be very interesting. So if you want to watch that, there will be a new YouTube video that pops up on the YouTube channel, or if you're watching on Odysee, you can just stay on the same link and just wait until we see us popping back up. But anyway, thanks Pedro for being on. Thanks everyone for watching, and yeah, I'll see you guys either next week or in a couple minutes here.